Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Sharif. I'm very happy to be with you here today. And I thank Brother Ashrafi for organizing this and the KMA for hosting us, inshallah. Hope this will be useful, inshallah, for everyone. I just like everyone to please just feel free to move closer, inshallah. Like if move to the right and move closer, just so, inshallah, you can be more engaged. I want this to be an engaging presentation where, inshallah, come closer. So I just want to start with a question, inshallah. And this is, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. You guys let me know what you think the answer is. So how much in 1 year, let's take last year, for example. What is the total losses in millions of dollars that Canadians suffered from frauds or scams or other stuff like that? Does anyone have any idea what that number would be?
500 million.
MashaAllah, that's very close, actually. That's very, very close. Anyone else want to try? Yeah, so MashaAllah, brother, you're very close. It's over $550 million. And actually, that's an underestimate because a lot of people, unfortunately, who get scammed or defrauded, they never report it to the police. They never report. Why? Because they feel ashamed, they feel embarrassed. They actually estimate the numbers in the billions of dollars. But the 550 million is people who made official complaints to the authorities. That's the data they were able to gather. Okay, the next part of it, before we start the presentation, I'm going to give you a scenario, and you guys have to help me out and tell me what you think I should do in this scenario. And this is a real life scenario. So I'm selling a mobile phone online. So I posted it on Facebook Marketplace, and I get a text message from someone who tells me that he wants to buy the phone, but he's not able to meet me in person. So is it okay if he sends me a certified check? And then once the check clears, I can ship him the phone. What should I do? Should I go ahead with this transaction or should I not? Anybody want to try to guess an answer?
Asking for e-transfer, it's easier.
Okay, so I asked him for e-transfer, very good. And he told me that he doesn't have access to e-transfer. He can just do certified checks. Okay, definitely. What's the risk to me though? Because if I get the check, I go to my bank, I get the money, and then I send the phone. How could he be taking advantage of me or scamming?
I think the certified check needs some time, right, to be processed.
Exactly. Yes. So the whole scam is that this person probably not even in Canada. He's probably in Africa or Asia somewhere, right? And what he's basically doing, he's sending me a replica of a certified check. I go to my bank. Now, what the banks will do is they'll actually show your balance right away. So if you deposit, say, $1,000, when you log in, you'll see that $1,000, and they'll actually show the check is cleared. But the reality is they have to send it back to the U.S. Central Bank to verify it, and that takes about a week or two. So what was going to happen during the week or two, he's going to say, okay, you have the money, now send me the phone. I ship him the phone. A month later, I get a note from my bank saying that the check was fraudulent and we've subtracted the money again, right? So now I don't have a phone and I don't have any money, right? So you can see that the scams are becoming quite sophisticated. And sometimes it's not that obvious, right? Because someone might think, okay, I'm getting a check. What's the risk? What's the risk to me? So you have to be very vigilant, especially people who make excuses, who don't want to meet in person. It's very easy online to pretend to be anyone, right? And to scam people. Okay, so let's get started on the presentation, inshallah. This right here? Okay. I'm ready. Let me just read this there. Oh, it's here. Okay. Share screen. The people online can see. Jazakallah khair. Brother Ashraf, how can do I have to look here or how do I follow?
Okay. Yeah, you have to look.
Okay, no worries. So we're trying to do online and in person at the same time. So our apologies if it's a bit awkward. Okay, so first I want to start, like, as Muslims, everything we do, we should do for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So what is our intention behind the session here tonight? What are we here to do? Because the difference between us as Muslims getting reward, and this being a reason, inshallah, for us getting closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and getting closer to Jannah, and something just, for the dunya, is just the intention, inshallah. So let's try to make a few intentions today so we can get some reward. Let's the first intention be the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The believer is not stung from the same hole twice. So this is reported in Bukhari. So that means as believers, we have to learn from our mistakes, right? So if I make a mistake, then I'll let everyone know so that people don't make the same mistake. And same for other people. So we always want to be people who learn from our mistakes and to learn from the stories and experiences of others. And then there's the ayah in the Quran, right? إِذَا جَاءَكُمْ يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا إِذَا جَاءَكُمْ فَاسِقٌ بِنَبَأٍ فَتَبَيَّنُوا, right? If like an evil person or corrupt person comes to you with some news, then you should always investigate. You shouldn't believe everything you hear, right? And all these scams are based on lying and inventing and twisting the truth. So if someone comes with us with fake news, we don't just believe it. We have to investigate it. This is actually a command from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran. So the fact that we're vigilant towards these types of frauds and scams is actually obeying the instructions of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran.
Sorry.
No, please.
This one.
Okay, perfect. Oh, that's great. Okay, so the other thing we want to do, I know it's not that visible, but we want to protect the community. So, alhamdulillah, we have lots of very good projects the KMA is doing. One of them is this masjid, right? So if every year, scammers are taking 50,000 from our community, that's 50,000 that wouldn't go into the masjid, wouldn't go into good causes, inshallah. So we want to protect the community's wealth. And the Prophet ﷺ told us that the best of people are the people who are the most beneficial to other people. So, inshallah, one of the intentions we have today is that anything we learn, we go help our parents, we go help our friends, we go help our community members. So if we make this niyyah, then anything we learn tonight becomes a sadaqah for us. Because anybody that we benefit, anybody that we protect from any harm, then we fall under the hadith of Prophet ﷺ, the best of the people are those who are the most beneficial. Because we'll be benefiting, inshallah, other people. So let's make these intentions. And let's use this as a chance to protect ourselves in the dunya, but also to get close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, inshallah. Okay, so what are the different types of scams? The first is door-to-door. So I'm sure you guys have all people come to your house saying, we're going to give you a green rebate, we're going to give you a furnace update, we're going to inspect your foundation. Be very careful about that. We'll get into more details, but a lot of those are actually scams. They're not honest people. Again, there's... now with AI has taken over everything, as you know. There's videos of Mark Carney, the Prime Minister, actually encouraging people to invest in Bitcoin that take you to sites that steal your money. They don't even sell real Bitcoin. So be very careful of anytime, even they could make deep fakes of imams or of Muslim preachers telling us to do stuff, and that could be scam as well. So be very careful. Anytime you see a video or any type of message, right now, be always check it out, right? Unfortunately, we got to the point where you can't even tell if someone's voice is real or picture is real. There are a lot of cases when there are actually scams. Unfortunately, our youth, everyone unfortunately has a device. In one family, you have 6, 7 phones. These are very dangerous. A lot of people online, unfortunately, want to take advantage of our youth, and a lot of the youth have fallen victim to different types of scams. And we'll discuss this as well. So we want to protect our young people from these scams. And we want to talk about what practical actions we can take to protect ourselves and our community, inshallah. Okay, so this is just a slide just showing us, the financial impact of these scams. So we talked about the 550 million. Unfortunately, scammers, they tend to prey on the weak and the vulnerable. So they go after disproportionately go after seniors, which may not be as financially literate or technologically literate. They go after youth, unfortunately, who are still learning and developing. And they go after immigrants, unfortunately. They go after people who maybe don't understand the way things work. A lot of the CRA scams, someone calling you saying, I'm from the government, I'm from the RCMP, I'm from the CRA. If you don't pay this money, you're going to go to jail or we're going to deport you. They're preying on the fear that sometimes immigrants have. They don't feel, fully in the country. They feel maybe that, something could be wrong. So they tend to be more afraid and they prey on this fear, unfortunately. So we need to be very careful about that. Okay, so let's just give some examples of scams. One common one is the grandparent scam. So, you're a grandparent, you get a call from someone saying your grandchild is in trouble and they need money, right? And you need to send them the money right away. And now with AI, they'll actually you'll hear the voice of your grandchild. They'll find on TikTok or some other online, they'll actually take the voice and they will create what's called an agent that actually speaks exactly like your child, uses the same expression, the same mannerisms, and pretend to be that child or grandchild and ask you to send money. And then later on, you find out that your child is safe. There was never any problem. They didn't need money. It was just a scam. So always, if you get a call like that, take the information, but verify it. Try to call your child directly. Try to call their parents. Try to, if they're at school, call their school. Don't trust anyone who calls you and says, your child is in trouble. Send money right away. Especially, if someone's in trouble, the first thing you don't need is money. If someone really in trouble, but these people will always try to get you to send money right away, out of fear. Okay, this one is a very popular scam. It's called the refund scam, right? And this actually, they prey on Muslims because Muslims, alhamdulillah, we tend to be very fair people. We tend to be very compassionate, and we tend always to want justice, alhamdulillah. Like we never want to cheat anyone or hurt anyone, alhamdulillah. So what they'll do is that you'll get a call saying that you bought something and you didn't actually buy it, so they're going to give you a refund. So you say, okay, send me the refund, right? So the person will accidentally refund you more money than they owe you, right? So say the thing cost 300, they refund you like 500, 600, even maybe 3,000, 4,000. And then they'll claim that, oh my God, I made a mistake. I refunded you too much. Now you have to pay me back the difference. And the scam here is that there was never actually any overpayment. It was all, they would log into your computer and change your bank balance to make it look like, and that's actually very easy to do if you know JavaScript or you know programming, to make it look like you have more money in your bank than you do. And then they pressure you into sending them either a gift card or Bitcoin or bank transfer. And by the time you go to, yeah.
Sorry, what's the excuse to ask for remote access?
To ask for what, sir?
Remote access.
They want to process the refund. Yeah.
And people believe that.
And people believe it. A lot of people believe it. So they'll get remote access. They will actually have you type some commands, claiming that this is a refund. Sometimes it's a tech support scam as well, where they're trying to sell you tech. So their excuse, they'll say your computer has a virus. You need this software. We need to log in to install it. And then they get remote access, and then they make you believe that they overpaid you. And then once you refund them the money, you find out later when you go to your bank that there was no overpayment. So my advice here is, just go to your bank directly or call your bank, or if you bought something from somewhere, if someone calls you, now they have something called caller ID spoofing. So you might get a call that's coming from Amazon or CRA, RCMP, and it says, Amazon or CRA, RCMP. It's actually just coming from India or China or something. It's very easy to spoof numbers. I could actually call you now, any one of you, from Brother Ashrafi's number, and pretend to be Brother Ashrafi, and you'd have no way of knowing that it's me or Brother Ashrafi, right? It's the
Is this like an app?
Yeah, there's a lot of free apps that do spoofing, and there's a lot of open source software now that does spoofing. But the reason is because the phone network, when it was designed, it's a trust network, right? The global phone network, it uses SS7 protocol. It was designed that all of the major carriers like AT&T, Verizon, Etisalat, they all trusted each other. So they would believe each other. If AT&T says this number is coming from this, Etisalat would believe it, right? They would never verify it. And now with voice over IP, the same thing works on the internet. When I call, I can set my caller ID to be the CRA, for example. And then there's the internet doesn't check it. Nobody checks it, right? So there's no way, you can't really trust caller ID. It's kind of honest, best effort, caller ID. So never believe that you're getting a call from someone. Always hang up and you call back on that number to be safe. Okay, there's one called the bank investigator scam, and there's people who have lost their whole life savings to this scam, unfortunately. So what they'll do is they'll call you and they'll claim that your account has been hacked and someone is going to steal all your money. And the only way to protect it is you have to send us all your money to keep it safe so it can't be robbed by the other person, right? And so people panic, and often they pretend to be police, they pretend to be government officials. And then people have liquidated their whole life savings, sent it to these people, only to find out later that it's a scam. So if you get a call like this, again, hang up the phone and just don't even call your bank. go in person to your bank and ask to speak to someone and sit down and explain the situation, and they will tell you exactly what's going on and so on. But never believe anyone who calls you, because a lot of people are scams. And even if your bank really calls you, by the way, the bank or all the bank or the CRA, all of these things, they're actually taught if anyone tells them, I'm not comfortable, I need to see you in person, or I need to call myself, they'll say that's perfectly fine, sir. You just call when you're comfortable, you come in and see us. That's what they're trained their staff to do. If the person tells you, no, if you don't talk to me now, we're going to arrest you, then that means 100% they're a scammer. They're pretending to be police, or they're pretending to be authorities. The police will never call you and tell you, send us money. It's illegal to do that in Canada, or the RCMP or the CRA. Even the CRA, they have to send you a letter. They're not allowed to call you and ask for money. So if the CRA calls, it's perfectly fine to say, I have no way of verifying this is the CRA. I will contact you myself. And you won't, there's no legal repercussion, there's no problem with that. Even if it was the real CRA, they'll just put it in the file and then you call them back. There's no problem. Okay, this one is common. And actually a lot of members of our community fall for this. It's called the green rebate scam. So Ontario government has all of these incentives. Like if you do insulation on your windows, or you upgrade your furnace, or you change your house insulation, you get like some tax credits, or you get some discounts and stuff like that. And these are absolutely real, right? But the problem is that these people who come door to door, they're just trying to get their foot in the door, claiming that they'll get you all of these rebates. But what they really want you to do is they want you to sign, purchase, very expensive air conditioning or heating system or insulation system. And they have actually had seniors sign contracts for a 20-year loan and lien on their house to pay for these systems. And they claim that if you sign this, you will get the incentives, you get the rebates. And the problem is, by the time they realize that it's a scam, they're already in debt $100,000, $200,000, and they can't even sell their house now because they put a lien on their house, right? So never ever, if someone comes to the door, whether they're selling you snow removal or roofing services or anything, that person, you just say, leave your card and thank you very much. You should do your own research. You should ask for referral. You should go online. You should get multiple estimates, and you should research the company first. Because unfortunately, there's even contractors, they'll claim you have a foundation problem, and then while they're there, they'll make multiple foundation problems, and then they'll charge you more to fix them, and they'll make more. So because people don't know how these things work, they actually will scam you even more. So be very careful about that. Okay.
Speaking of door-to-door,
Yeah.
I've seen some teenage boys or girls showing up at my door asking for donations for a charity.
Yes.
Is this also a scam?
Sometimes it is, and sometimes it isn't.
And I tried to give them cash, like $20 or $50, but they refused. They want me to make the donation online.
Yes, yeah.
And monthly donations.
Correct. So it's not a scam per se. Like, these charities are real, but the problem is that it's not a good use of your money, because these people are getting commission. So say you give $20 a month, like $5 a month or $10 a month will go to commission. So reality is that if I want to help people with cancer, why don't I have 100% of my money go? Why do I need to give 50% for that subcontractor who's helping with the donation? I should pick charities that at least their administration ratio is less than 10%, ideally between 5 and 8%. Because otherwise, even in Islam, when we give zakah, right, we're not allowed to give zakah, even though one of the categories of zakah, al-amilina alayha, the people who are collecting the zakah and processing it, it can't be, the scholar said, it can't be more than 10%. So we can't, like, if you're giving $100 zakah, $10, more than $10 cannot go to someone just for bank fees or credit card fees or processing. So any charity, even KMA, if their fees are more than 10%, then don't donate for them, because they're not running the charity in a way that is reputable and honest, basically, right? And that's the problem with door-to-door, is that you never know. So the best thing to say that, thank you very much, I've taken the information, let me do my research, and if I think it's a good cause, inshallah, I will. We don't have to, like the Prophet ﷺ told us, we shouldn't be cruel or mean. Maybe these people are good people, but we should just say, no, I prefer to do it in this way.
I'd like to add one thing to that. Actually, it's a very good question, Jazakallah, for bringing it up. These are genuine charities, okay? They are actually registered, internationally registered charities. But the way they do this contract is, once you add it to your credit card, you cannot remove it. There is no way you can remove that. Even if you close your credit card, they'll come back with your another credit card, because that's how they are tied to the system. So be very careful. monthly is a big deal. Give them one-time shop payment. Maybe if you're really passionate about that cause, go donate every month, but don't ever give them the card. Details. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I offered cash, I offered online donation.
Yeah, they won't accept.
They
don't
didn't
accept
accept,
online.
yeah.
Because bank also cannot deny it. Even if you don't go and tell your credit card, cancel this monthly payment, bank will say I can't do it. So be careful with that.
Yeah, it's a very, very good point. It's very hard sometimes. So the problem with these charities is not that they're not legitimate. They will hire subcontractors. So the charity will hire a firm, and that firm is for profit, and they'll say, look, for every $100, we give you $30, whatever the fees. And that's why they're so aggressive to get that monthly, because they're getting a reoccurring, it's called commission. It's like when you do affiliate marketing and you have someone sell the product for you, they get a percentage. So the same thing as that. But then again, like, do you really want to give a percentage to a third party, right? It doesn't make sense. Well, don't. Okay, so now we'll talk about tech support scams. This is really common, and romance scams. So tech support, I'm sure we've all seen this. We've been surfing the internet. We suddenly have this big pop-up saying your computer has been infected, or you have this big problem, and they have a phone number, right, that you're supposed to call. If you call this phone number, it says Microsoft, but the reality is not Microsoft. It's some scam call center, and then they're going to try to sell you tech support services. And as you said, they're going to try to get remote access to your computer. And then once they have remote access, they can do two things. They can either try to do the refund scam if they want, or they can just steal your passwords and your bank information and your identity theft. So they can do a lot of other things. The important thing is, if you think you have a virus, don't call the number on the screen, because that's the number coming from the scam. Call antivirus, or download antivirus software, or call Microsoft directly, or the company you want, or a reputable firm, or take your laptop into Best Buy, for example. But don't call these numbers, and be very careful. Don't even Google. Like, if you Google Microsoft or Amazon, sometimes the number that comes up is not the real number. It's a scam number, because Google, what they do, like, Google is a very rich company and they want to make a lot of money. They sell ads to the scammers. So as a scammer, like, I'm a scammer. I'm not a scammer, but if I was a scammer, I could go on Google and I could buy ads, and I could say, Amazon technical support, and I could put my cell number. And then when people search for Amazon technical support, they will see my cell number, and I could get the number, the call, and I could try to scam people. The problem with Google is they're not very good at filtering out these scammers. Like, the only way they get rid of them is like if a lot of people complain, but then a lot of people complain, they've already stolen like millions of dollars, and
Don't really care.
they don't care, because
I saw Carney asking people to go buy Bitcoin
on YouTube. Exactly. So the reason they don't care, because Google or YouTube, all these things, they make money based on ad views and impressions, and they get kickbacks basically. So if there's no incentive for them to remove, they're just going to make less money, right? So they only do that if there's a legal reason to remove. Romance scams are very dangerous as well. So we just have to be aware. There's lots of people online who pretend to be other people. They might pretend to be famous people. They might pretend to be rich people. They might pretend, you can pretend to be whoever you want. And they try to form friendships or, romance with people. And then they try to drain their money. They try to get them to send money and send, other stuff. So be very careful. Anyone can pretend to be anyone online, and everyone can be vulnerable to this. To be very, very careful about this as well. Okay, this is something that affects the youth. So I'll try to, say this a bit delicately. I mean, this is not, inshallah, none of us will be affected, but there's a lot, especially on Snapchat or, and less YouTube, but I would say mostly Snapchat and Instagram. There's a lot of fake profiles, and what they're doing, they're targeting youth. So they put a nice, attractive picture. The youth will message them, and then they will try to get the youth to send them, indecent pictures or videos. And then they'll use the blackmail the youth. And because the youth tend to be very scared and frightened, they will actually steal from their parents. They will commit crimes. They'll sell drugs just to be able to pay this money, so that their pictures and videos are not, released, right? Because they're very embarrassed about this. So the main thing, if this ever happens to anyone is that you just block everyone, like block all of these accounts. In general, they won't release the pictures or videos, because really what they want is money. They're not looking to embarrass anyone. They just want to take as much money as they can. And obviously report it to the authorities as well, inshallah. But be careful. It's apparently a lot of the youth have fallen victim of this, just because it's such an easy scam to do. And the goal of these scammers is they're not actually targeting the youth. They want the youth to steal money from their parents, to sell drugs. They want youth to use them to get money for themselves. And unfortunately, it's very sad, but some youth have even committed suicide because of the pressure of this type of scam. So we should be aware of this. Again, this is just, if this happens to your child, never pay, block everything and report to the authorities. That's what the recommended action is. Okay, so I'm gonna now, I think this is for your section. Is it still mine? It's still mine. Okay. So I talked about this. Never trust caller ID. If you get a number, hang up, find the real number, and call back. And there was even a very interesting scam where they did this. They would call you from the RCMP, and this is a very tough one because it fooled a lot of even very smart people. They call you from the RCMP and they say, okay, you have a warrant. If you don't pay this money, we're going to arrest you, and so on. And then you tell them, look, I'm going to hang up and call the RCMP just to check that you're really from the RCMP. So you hang up, you call the RCMP, and you get the same person. And he says, now I've proven to you that I'm RCMP, so now pay up. And then people afterwards, they pay up. And the way they do it is that what happens is when you press the hang up button, right? If you don't press it long enough, it doesn't actually hang up the line. So they actually, on their side, they detect the half hang up. They play a special ringtone, that ring, the noise that when you hang up, and then you call back again, you were never hanged up, actually. The call was still connected. So be very careful. There's a lot of tricks they can do where they make you think you hung up and you called again, but reality, it's just the same phone call. The call was never actually dropped. And they fooled a lot of people with this as well. So again, I would hang up, wait 5 minutes, take it easy, and then maybe not, call different department or call different number. Don't be fooled into calling the first number again.
There is a problem with some organizations there is that they are not aware of such things, or they are not yet updating their system to react to such scammers, so that they are still doing it the old way. So, for example, CIBC, whenever I'm talking to them, or even RBC, like whenever I'm talking to them, they're saying, okay, you can, if you want to drop off right now, we can call you back in hours. And when they call me, they send me a code and let me tell them the code.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'm saying to them, you are the ones who are calling me.
Yeah.
I should verify you, not the other way. So they still want to verify me, although they are the ones who are calling me. So the problem is that there are lots of organizations, they are still playing it the old way.
Yes, yeah. Mashallah, absolutely. And you have to be very careful because a lot of these scams revolve around codes, right? And some people think that if I use two-factor authentication, I think you'll get into this, right? SMS and stuff. Brother will get into it. I won't steal his section. But yeah, you have to be careful. There's a lot of scams even around these codes and how they work. And inshallah, Brother Nazir will speak more.
Yeah, they are real. Like
yeah.
This is the way the banking are working. This is the way they are working right now.
Exactly. Unfortunately, but the scammers work the same way. So then how can you tell? How can you tell the difference, right? That's the problem, right? Okay.
The bank does not allow callback. Only CIBC and I think RBC. TD never. Now just callback. Which may be a security thing, but it's not good sometimes.
People get annoyed because you stay on the phone for hours sometimes waiting, right? That's the problem. So inshallah, basically the three rules for safety.
One question before you go into this. How do they select their targets? Do they just dial random numbers?
No. So they buy lists, right? So if you go on the dark web, there's lists that the scammers, they have a marketplace, right? Where they sell, lists of victims, potential victims. And these come from hacks, right? So for example, the CRA was hacked a few years ago. CIBC was hacked. All these things are hacked. So they compile these huge databases, people's names and emails and phone numbers and passwords and any other information that was compromised during the hack. And then they'll sell it, but they'll sell what's called lists that have been refined. So what happens is like the hack might have 25 million people, but there's like 3 million which they think, based on like previous experience, are very vulnerable. They're either seniors or they're people who are they don't know much. So those people will sell them for more money. And so like if you get scammed once and you actually pay, you become like on the golden list now. Every other scammer will try to scam you because they know that you're fallen victim. So unfortunately, like, whether we like it or not, most of our information is part of these hacks. So we just have to be careful. I think there was of the 4 billion internet users, maybe 3.5 have been compromised or something, right, through different hacks. There's not our fault, right? Like you have so many online accounts. These companies like Yahoo and stuff, they didn't do a good job of encrypting and protecting the data, and so and legally they don't have to pay compensation. So if they get hacked, like Yahoo, for example, they leaked 500 million accounts. All they had to do is send an email saying, please change your password and apologize, basically. That was it. But there was not really legal responsibility because the US government wants to protect the big internet companies because they have such a big impact on the stock market and the US economy. So there's lots of laws to protect them from liability. Even class action lawsuits, sometimes when they succeed, you get $1 or $2 or something. So it's not really a significant amount. And so just assume that your information is out there, unfortunately, and hopefully they don't target you.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Is there any regulator that regulate this kind of frauds?
Yes, there is. Yeah, absolutely. In Canada and the US, the problem is that they're underfunded and overworked, and the number of fraudsters is many times the number of even in Nigeria, they know that there's millions of people committing frauds and stuff, but they can't keep up with the volume, right? It's such a lucrative business, right? And unfortunately, in a lot of the countries, second, third world countries, the scammers actually are bribing the police and bribing the authorities, which makes it even more difficult, right, for that to happen. So it's unfortunate, but that's
How do they make international calls?
just a voice over IP.
Voice over IP.
Yeah, it's all voice over IP. So it's
Do they use a local number as a proxy? How do they
no, it's a service. So there's so many online websites where you can get a number. So I can get a number in Egypt, or I can get.
I see.
I'll give you an example. Like Text Now is voice over IP, or there's so many different services. But the problem is that these companies sometimes, if enough people complain, they ban the numbers, and they ban the accounts. So what they're doing is they're always changing their number, going to a different provider, et cetera. Right? The problem with it, it's so easy now to get a new Instagram, email, phone number, even address. You have virtual addresses now. So they have these YouTube videos where the whole scam center got busted, and 2 days later it opened two blocks down, right? With the same people, the same systems, right? So it's very hard to keep it, to keep them down, because the problem with these countries, where these scams come from, is say the average person makes $10 a day, normally, and then someone working as a scammer will make $100 a day, $200. So people are, it's difficult to live on $10 a day. So some of these people are poor and they say, I want to live a better life, so I'll be scamming for $100, $200 a day. Right? This is the reality, unfortunately. Right? Yeah. Okay, so again, report it. So there's the Canadian Anti-Fraud Center, there's cybertip.ca, there's Need Help Now, obviously local police. So these are all resources available in case you are a victim or you're afraid, even if you're not a victim, but you got a call and you're not sure, these places can help you, determine, is it a real scam and what's the best step? Or sometimes you get half scammed, you get called and you give them some information, but then in the middle you didn't feel comfortable and you hung up, but they still have some of your information. So then they can advise you what the best action to take is, right?
So, excuse me.
Yeah.
This body, they are reactive, right? They are not kind of proactive. Take for instance now, couple of months back, Wet Simple compromise
Correct.
data, right?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, I'm a customer of Wet Simple.
I get no repercussion for this, right? Let's say if they are sanctioned, maybe government place sanctions on them, right? That they need to protect their customer data and all of that, and maybe they pay a huge fine.
Correct.
So if they do that, ultimately that will serve as a kind of learning for other companies. So and they will take the data serious, right? Their customer data serious.
I agree 100% what you're saying. And, we should talk to our MPs about this. We should talk to our members of parliament. The problem is companies like Simple, TDCBC, they're big donors to different campaigns. They support different politicians. It's like AIPAC, for example. In the US, AIPAC funds 90% of politicians. None of them are going to speak against Israel, right? Because they don't want to lose the next election. The same thing, these financial companies, these internet, Google, Facebook, Microsoft, they're all funding a lot of political campaigns. And so they don't want to have they don't mind having rules or laws, but they don't want to have any teeth, because they realize that they want to move quickly and they want to take risks, and they don't want to have liability, right, to pay huge fines. But you're right, absolutely. Like if we're living in a perfect world, there should be, just as if I go on the street and I put a gun in someone's face and I say, give me $1,000, that's very bad, right? I go to jail for a long time. But I can go online and I can steal $1,000, or I can leak someone's information, and I just get a slap on the wrist. So it's not a fair system. Yeah.
To add to that, one more thing was that these giant corporate, it's all money, right? What they do is they take insurance. Just like we have insurance for our vehicles, we also have fraud insurance, we have cybersecurity insurance, where the insurance covers all these penalties, and they just pay premium. So ultimately for them, it's all money. What we're trying to say is, you're on your own. Don't believe on them. Like that.
Yeah. So if Well Simple tells you your data has been compromised, I would do a few things. I would sign up for, there's identity theft protection. So it's a service you can sign up for. You pay like $10 a month, and they'll notify you if your identity is used. Because you don't want someone taking a mortgage in your name, for example, or putting a lien on your house, or a car loan. You don't want that. And so that's one thing you can do. And sometimes as part of the settlement, like Well Simple will say to the people compromised, we'll give you 6 months of identity theft protection as some sort of a compensation for what happened. So you may as well take advantage. I know it's not the best, but at least it's something. But again, the brother will mention some best practices to protect ourselves, inshallah, from this. Okay, so I'll leave it to Brother Nazir, inshallah. Yeah, he's the expert. Jazakallah khair.
I'll be quick. I will try to be as quick as possible, and I'll make it a little interesting for our youth who are participating today. And thank you for being here. My job is cyber. The name cyber is synonymous to network security, internet security, and cyber is basically a game of defense and offense, right? Defense means you're trying to protect, you're trying to save, and offense is you're trying to exploit the vulnerable or expose data or steal data. It's kind of a game of a police or a cop versus a thief. It's kind of that. So this battle is going on since many, many years. All my years I've been on the defense side. That's been my job. But it's very interesting. First of all, everybody. And I say cybersecurity matters. Why? Because anyone can be a target. I've been also a target. Practically, nobody's safe. In the sense, I'm not scaring you, but it's important to be aware. That awareness is important. That's why we are gathered today. What to do? What Brother Sharif covered a lot of, the what's happening in the local. What I'm talking of is, the responsibility is global. The responsibility is on me. It's on you. It's on your institutions. I will say today, if anybody is connected to the KMA Wi-Fi, the responsibility is on KMA also to protect you. And regulations are coming. You touched that topic. The other brother also touched that topic. Regulations are coming, but they're coming slow. So it's a Tom and Jerry chase. The offensive side is super fast. It's an industry. There is a CEO. There is a CFO. They're very organized. They have marketplaces. Anybody can guess how to access, a very common word, black market. We've heard of this word, black market. My generation, my dad's generation. On the internet, what's the black market? That's the dark web, which is very synonymous to the word black market, right? How do you access the dark web? Exactly. So you use Chrome, you use Edge. That's the more white space. White space means where legal things happen. Where if you want to go into the dark web, you use a Tor browser and you access the dark web, you access their marketplaces. So it's kind of a dangerous area to play into. Why? Because the governments are monitoring. The internet is now going through a rigorous monitoring phase where they're trying to catch these cyber criminals. So anyone can be a target, from families, individuals, corporates, and how does anybody get attacked or becomes vulnerable? One mistake. One mistake is needed. That's simple. We all drive cars, right? If you miss a blind spot, what happens? One blind spot, and you can hit the car in the next lane, right? And in the world of internet, that mistake is that one click. You accidentally click something, and it creates a kind of a reaction. It's like a tsunami of events that can occur, and basically you compromise your own laptop, your own company servers, and on all these things. So one click, that's the blind spot. It can cause a lot of trouble, a lot of data loss. So the most valuable thing on the internet is data. This device can be replaced, but the photographs you have on your phone, the data you have on your phone, that is irreplaceable. Brother Ashrafi mentioned it can be insured. If that data is valuable, you can insure it. Otherwise, you have a backup. You try to restore it, but there will be a loss. So Brother Sharif mentioned, what are the losses for Canadians? 550 billion. Million. Okay. Reported, right? And he's right. Nobody reports truly what the losses are. Worldwide, what is the 2025 losses to cybercrime? 10.5 trillion.
Just in 2020.
Just 2025. And 2015, like 10 years back, this was just 33% of that. So this crime, the market is increasing exponentially. Why?
Not just individuals, right?
No, this is corporates. This is anybody, individual or the enterprise. Now, actually, the FBI or the other centers, even the Canadian RCMP, the corporates, they don't report accurately. So yes, 10.5 is the estimated loss from the cyber industry, but actual reported is just 16 billion. But everybody hides their loss. Why? It's human nature, right? If tomorrow your wallet gets stolen by a pickpocketer, you don't go and tell and announce the whole community, hey, my wallet got stolen, right? Everybody's a little shy about that. So companies, if they report their losses, they fear that in the share market, their values will, because they're not practicing. Now, again, regulations are changing. They're forcing companies. In the US, you have to declare a breach or an attack within 3 days. If it's not done, huge penalties, up to even jailing the CEO of the company. He goes behind bars. So these regulations are coming, and we need more regulations. We need more regulations to kind of protect anybody and everybody. And regulations are coming. Now, there is talk that all telco providers, Rogers, AT&T, Bell, they should secure their infrastructure, and we connect to the cell phone towers and have data plans on your phones. Bell's responsibility to protect you as much as possible, and you should have your own protection on your devices too. And they're bundling now with your data plan and packages security softwares on your phone to prevent you getting scammed or hacked or losing data. The landscape consists of phishing. Phishing, the pronunciation is same as phishing, F-I-S-H-I-N-G. There is another variation of that is kishing also, where you have a QR code. In a parking lot, you see the QR code and you have to scan it and pay. So be careful of that, because that can also be leading to a site which is not the real parking company's site. So you have to be aware of that. So phishing and kishing. Phishing is basically they're trying to trap you. They're creating a false sense of urgency for you, and you accidentally go and click on it. You think so. The techniques are same actually. The real world, like somebody. Like an imposter, right? Who thinks I'm a salesman, but he's not actually a salesman. He's hiding behind a false identity and a fake identity. Password, loss of passwords. My email, my personal email, and even my business email is pawned. I don't know about you. There is a site called I Have Been Pawned. Pawned is PWNED. If you go to that and just type your email, my emails. Ottawa Public Library was hacked. So my email is registered there. So my personal email has been hacked. At least it's gone in 4 breaches. That's what the site says. Even my company, my formal email address, I use is very sparingly. Now, as professionals, we go to so many educational sites, and you want to download a white paper to learn about certain technology. They don't accept Yahoo emails and Hotmail emails. They want your company emails. So to read a white paper, I have given my company emails so many places, and those companies have had breaches, which they've not informed me actually that they've been breached. Some companies have responsibly, like Wikipedia was also breached, I think, and they mentioned. Ottawa Public Library also, they wrote back and said that we have been breached, change your email or register with a new email. So if your email is pawned, then chances are you're getting a lot of marketing emails, a lot of phishing emails trying to attract you to buy something. If you feel anything that is not real, don't waste your time. They will try to attract you with offers and attract something very cheap, unbelievable, and that is the temptation where you go and click on something, and then either your some software gets downloaded to your laptop, your disk gets encrypted, you lose access to all your data. Ransomware. That's the part where I'm saying your data gate. And today, as the IoT, the Internet of Things, and OT is more industrial, operational technology. Internet of Things, IoT, your cameras at home, your wireless devices that you have at your home, these can also be breached, where now your privacy is impacted. Somebody's watching your home, and then they use that data to blackmail you. So,
Or I've heard some people like hacks to the home cameras.
yes, exactly.
And then when they make sure that the family is not home, they just break it.
Yeah. So data, and when you're breached, it's not a given that you will see the impact immediately. They could be, waiting a very long time before something gets triggered. Human behavior is the single most biggest risk, actually. So some advice, think before clicking. If you've never asked for it, don't accept it. Use multi-factor authentication. There are softwares like Google Authenticator, Microsoft Authenticator, Authy, various softwares. Have it installed on your phone, register your account. So Embridge uses a 6-digit code when you're trying to log into Embridge to see your bill. So, every account you should have multi-factor authentication with your bank, with your email, Yahoo, Gmail, anything, right? Don't reuse passwords. Use unique passwords, as long with the complex passwords, not simple, not names which can be easily used. And keep devices updated. The brother mentioned there, that softwares that you use the latest software. As updates come to your software and to your devices, they become stronger. Everybody, the entire industry is now very cybersecurity focused, and good from like I would say last 5 years, more effort is being put on in creating more secure software, encoding practices, ensuring that one quiz question. How can you fool a software? Humans can make a mistake. I'm saying human behavior is the single most risk. Machines, computers don't make mistakes, right? Can machines and computers make mistakes? Huh?
All the time.
All the time?
Yeah.
And how?
There could be a bug.
Yeah, bug is yeah.
It's not the human.
Huh?
The bug, even the bug is still a human.
So,
AI makes the bugs.
so I say that software or applications, they don't make mistakes. Why? Because in the programming world, you have a certain flow. If anybody's from IT, you get input, you do processing, you take some output out, right? It has a flow. Every time, if the input is matching the flow, the output will get generated. But if
Maybe untrusted.
yeah, trust is a big problem on the internet today, but you can fool a program by giving it a wrong input. Then the program doesn't know what to do with that input because it's programmed to only accept if there is a name and the last name, and it's expecting alphabets there. But if I put some code there, then the program can misbehave, right? So, and that's what hackers try to do. Do we need hackers? Anybody can tell us?
White hackers. Yeah.
Yeah, ethical hackers are trying. Ethical hacking also is a job profile where you try to actually secure the systems by trying to see before the defense team tries to break in. An ethical hacker who's hired by the company, he'll try to break in himself. There are businesses who are doing that, but otherwise the hacker community, the hackers are basically people who don't trust anybody and they validate things by themselves. Can anybody name one of the famous hacking group? Everybody's heard of Anonymous, right? They are very ethical people. They have exposed so much problems in the world, actually, right? So we need some of these type of anonymous type of hackers. We need them in the world. Tools don't need to be complicated to do cybersecurity. Password managers, don't store, you can have one password, Bitwarden. I've put in some examples of, and then brother Sharif touched the scam resources. Canadian Anti-Fraud Society, FTC is in US, CISA is in US, update your softwares regularly, use strong passcodes, avoid unknown apps. The more applications you install that you don't need, the more risk you are increasing for yourself. Install what you need. Verify. We can. The biggest benefit we can do to be secure is actually sharing information. If Brother Sharif is using something and he's found it good and trustworthy to do a job, use the same app instead of going and trying something new which you don't know.
What do you mean by unknown? I mean, any applications
So
we're not downloaded from App Store or
in the Play Store and in the Apple Store. Apple is doing a better job than Google to verify the apps. Google is horrible in this. Google will put any application. So try to use the apps mostly from the stores. Don't install unknown apps. Right? Now I had to do it one time, but I had to call Korea to confirm that. I bought a sporting device. It was an electric cycle, and it had an app which will tell how much battery is there on it, but it was not in the store. So I did my own, because I work for a cybersecurity company. I have a damn good secure software, which kind of checks anything that I install. It doesn't trust anything from the store also. It does its own verification. And I ran through that. Before installing that app, I gave my app to this app, security. I have a mobile threat defense app on this phone. So it checked it and it okayed it. That's why I installed it. Secure your home Wi-Fi. This is again a very common logic. How many times you've given your passwords home Wi-Fi when guests come home, to children who want to play games, right? You've given them access to your home network. And if one of those phones is infected, that infection will transfer into your home network. So what will you do?
I have Wi-Fi completely disabled in my home.
Okay. No, the best thing to do is have a guest Wi-Fi, which is separate from the home Wi-Fi. So whenever guests come and children come and ask for uncle, give Wi-Fi password, give them the guest Wi-Fi password.
Yeah, but can they not use the guest Wi-Fi to?
No. So the brother Sharif can maybe talk about it. In the world of IT, segmentation is important. There's something called segmentation. So you separate this network from the other network. This network is more secure. Security is not only at the door of the mosque. The security can be here, can be here. So you create segments into your network security. And as much segmentation you do, the more difficult it is because they have to cross all those firewalls, which are network firewalls. Again, keep your passwords unique. Don't use one password on all your accounts, because if
One nice experience I found on one website, I think it was Amazon. When I tried to use my password, it told me this password was hacked.
okay, wow,
It has the list of
all hacked passwords.
I was born. It's public website where you can check an email. It will give you if that email was hacked.
Yeah,
So it told me that this password, this email is hacked already.
right.
Make another password. But some other site they will accept it as
Exactly. So Amazon is doing a better job than other companies in kind of sharing that information. Misconfigurations are responsible for major breaches. And again, this is a human error. Misconfigurations of network devices, how they configure the security. Cloud, everybody wants to use cloud, put their data on cloud. So cloud is secure when used correctly. If it's not used correctly, it's very easy to spin up servers, workstations, whatever you want to deploy in cloud. It's very easy to do it. But then if you're doing it irresponsibly, then you're going to lose data and somebody's going to breach it. Use MFA and again, use cloud from trusted providers only. So the big cloud companies are Amazon, Alibaba, Google, Microsoft Azure. These are reputable companies. They're investing a lot in securing your data and keeping good redundancy of your data. Don't go to cloud providers who are new in the market, right? What would be we use browsers a lot, and what would be a good check to know that the website that you're working with is safe? Certificates, yes. It's all. Most of the sites use HTTPS now. There's a small lock on the bottom of it.
Does that mean the website is trustable?
No, it doesn't mean that. If there are databases, you can check the reputation of a website on that web database. If the website is brand new, never interact with that website. So let the website be matured. So I can spin up a website and try to sell 10 different products on that website today, and people will buy from it. Now I have their credit cards and their personal information about their address and everything, and I could close the website.
How do we check the age of the website?
Reputation services.
Reputation
services. Yeah.
So there's software, if you install it like Zscaler, for example, other software, automatically it will, based on policy, it'll block new web. So in my company, they use Zscaler. It's a cloud security agent. And if I go to a website that's not secure, it'll actually block it, tell me that it violates the policy. I'm sure there's, and like on personal, you can get antivirus or security suites that would do
the same thing. Yeah.
So regarding the IoT, it's more about brainstorming now. It's not a question, but my campaign as a hacker, if I breach it, a device, home device, camera or whatever, is it more profitable for me to make it or to blackmail the person hosting this device at home, his home, or to make it part of a botnet and try to have it to have a wider attack on a corporation or something like that? Which one is more profitable for me?
It will not be profitable for you. If I have to think the other way, people want to be profitable, right? In any business, right? So if I hack into a corporate or a public space where the coverage, I'll get more data, that's better than an individual, right? So, but then the risk is there. The privacy risk is big. There are authorities, I'm forgetting the regulation. that which is actually verifying the IoT devices. And now IoT manufacturers are getting registrations or certifications from the US authority, and they publish it with their product. So only buy products from those, because I may buy a camera from China which is connected to the internet, but I don't know if their firmware is actually transferring all the video images to them, actually. A copy of that.
To add to that, it's a good
It's
example.
called
Right?
FOCA, I think,
Should
FOC.
I target the individual or the target the corporate? So we are getting a little deeper into technical. We did not want to, but that's a good question. It's all business. How much is my investment and how much is my return? And like we talked earlier, there are tools that, so there is a hacker who steals all the credit cards and puts them on the sale. And then there is a thief who buys those credit cards from the black market and uses them to make purchases. So if somebody gets caught, not the hacker, the thief, right? Because he uses the credit card, the hacker is gone, disappeared. So depending on so there are tools like that. So depending on what kind of tool we purchase, we can do that attack. To attack an individual camera in a house is much easier and needs much cheaper tools than to attack corporate. It will have much more stronger controls, right? So depending on who is the attacker, how much money he has to use the tools to go and attack a corporate or individual, that much return on.
Yeah, but if I breach a camera at home, still this camera could be part of a botnet, and this botnet, this huge botnet, like if it's a part of 50K devices, and this device can be a part of a state attack or something like that. This looks to me, from the first view, that this could be much profitable for me than
But it's not easy.
blackmailing.
Yeah. But they will have, like you said, they will segregation.
Yeah.
There will be more walls between corporate and the person sitting outside the wall.
Yeah.
And by the way, they do both as well. Like, so they'll hack the camera, they'll blackmail, and then they'll put a part about it. There's no reason they can't use it.
It's not either.
Yeah, it's not either
Yeah,
one.
yeah. Avoid using public Wi-Fi. Kids like to binge Wi-Fi, wherever, like you go to the Richcraft Recreation Center, free Wi-Fi. And the first time I connected to that free Wi-Fi, the MTD software from my company detected that they were installing a lot of apps on your phone, like in the back. And so I never connect to Richcraft's public Wi-Fi. And by the way, when you connect to their public Wi-Fi, have you read the disclaimer, the long disclaimer they show you there? Well, try to read it. They're absolving themselves from any crime or any penalty if anything happens to your banking app or any breach occurs. So you can't hold them liable.
Who
Right.
is installing the app in the background?
So the service provider who's giving free Wi-Fi to the city, he wants to make money. Nothing is free in life.
Yeah.
Nothing is free. There is nothing called free Wi-Fi, actually. There is always some, even if you go to Tim Hortons and you're connecting their Wi-Fi, I'm not saying Tim Hortons is bad, but what I'm saying is that they have it because they want customers to come in, have coffee, work from there. But they are actually using that data. They're doing data mining. What is your usage? They're logging the public Wi-Fi access, which websites you go, they're creating a profile for you. If you interact with ChatGPT, for example, and you're using the free one, you're not paying ChatGPT. ChatGPT knows your complete profile based on the questions you ask it. Ask ChatGPT to describe you. He will describe you based on your searches. So nothing is free in the world. Nothing is free. Yeah, same thing Google.
So by the way, when Google, this is an interesting story. Google was founded as a company. A lot of people were skeptical is how they're going to make their money, because they're giving everything for free. They're giving you email, they're giving you maps, they're giving you like search. Search was really good. And a lot of the initially Google, they thought they were going to go bankrupt because people said they're too generous. Everything free. And then what Google had in the back of their mind is they were just collecting information. And at some point they flicked the switch and they started using that information to track you and to put ads. And then now they're one of the biggest companies in the world. They're worth multiple trillions of dollars. Really, Google is just about data. All of their free services is just about, they want to know, Google can now tell you, if your wife is going to be pregnant, or if you're going to buy a car in the next, like they have incredible amount of information about you.
So do most of the NCA
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, for sure. But what I'm saying is that Google's whole business
No,
model
I
is
mean-
monetizing the data. Basically.
Yeah.
So you mentioned about repetition service. Is it a website or?
There are companies, yeah. You buy their services. So again, if you invest in a good software to protect your phone, like Zone Alarm is free. If you use Zone Alarm is using repetition services in the background. Yeah. How attackers attack state-sponsored. An example of state-sponsored attack is Salt Typhoon, which connected all the telcos actually. Business email compromise is biggest, and ransomware as a service. As brother Ashrafi mentioned, that you can buy actually softwares to hack one individual or a big company. This is a big market, you know.
In your previous slide, you mentioned about use reputable VPNs, and how do you know which is the reputable or not?
Again, I think
Is it by experience or?
yeah. Again, if shared knowledge is available, you know, people who are using it, that's a good way of checking. Otherwise, you will also come to know how many people have installed this VPN app. So I apologize, we are going a little longer, but we are finishing soon. So cybersecurity is a life skill. It's not something that it's important. I think way back, our father's generation and even maybe my generation, we were very conscious of pickpockets. I come from a city in India where pickpocket is rampant. And I've told this to my friends also. I have a habit of checking my wallet every few seconds. And I do that even in Ottawa. And yeah, and my wife says, "Why are you checking your wallet?" And I said, "It's a habit, right? Right? It's a life skill, right? I can lose a wallet and go through all the pains of reordering all the credit cards, but I better check it." So cybersecurity is a life skill. As brother Sharif said, be skeptical of unsolicited phones. I don't answer any phone call if I don't know the person, don't know the number. I never pick it up. Let it go to the voicemail. They'll leave a message. If they didn't leave a message, they are just scammers or unwanted people.
If it's a legit call, actually, they let you know in
Yeah.
advance
Yeah.
that you're gonna call.
Yeah. And Ottawa Hospital, if it calls, you see their caller ID. Again, I know that number. My dad lives with me, so I know that number memorized now. So I pick up that phone. Otherwise, I'll never pick up the phone. Enable parental controls. Teach your kid. Like brothers touched that topic on what information they can share online. It's very easy to find information, because one day I was standing at a pharmacy and everybody tells their birthday so loud and address so loud. I have two pieces of information right away there. I can quickly write it down. This person's birthday is, they ask you to verify your name, but some people talk so loudly. And, just bend over, speak softly, protect that data, right? Other way to find somebody's birthday and month and year is just look at their number plate. You'll come to know which month he's born in and his birthday. And maybe if a detective is hired, if he sits outside the house, he'll know that the cake is coming on that day. That's his birthday, right? So, right. Privacy settings on your social media apps, that's very important. People ignore that, and that leads to a lot of leakage of information of your.
You recommend on LinkedIn also?
Every place. Don't trust anybody. In cybersecurity, zero trust.
Private settings on social media. Like, how do we do it with LinkedIn? It's pretty much a public social network,
You
right?
can share only with friends, not everyone.
Yeah, all the
So you say
same.
only
They're
friends.
more or less same settings. Yeah, more or less. If you see, there's a lot of analogy between Facebook, LinkedIn, who you can share with, who can see your post, all that thing.
What about my profile?
Profile, you want to keep it public because LinkedIn is a professional network. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, they can. You get a lot of data from someone's LinkedIn profile.
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
yeah.
You don't have to show your birthday on LinkedIn. You don't have to show your phone number. You don't have to show your address. You just you share
you're
your
giving your full name, right?
name and where you work.
Where you work.
Yeah.
And they can probably figure out the year you are born. You were born by your graduation date.
LinkedIn is Microsoft.
Approximately, yeah.
Microsoft is a reputable company. You trust. You have to trust somebody, right? Otherwise, we'll be living in a paranoid world, right?
Yeah.
Incident response. Any cyber breach occur, the technical terminology or the name is incident. That's called an incident. So enterprises, so incident response for everyone. I've put the title there because if something happens to do, what you will do, right? I think the best thing to do is like disconnect from the internet, because at least you'll stop the bleeding, because there may be some data transfers occurring. Change your passwords, call your bank, call your credit card company, change your credit cards, report scams to local authorities. Brother Sharif touched a topic. People are shy to report it. I think we should share that information as profusely as possible to make everybody safe. Cybersecurity is not about fear. It's the sharing of information empowers everybody. And small habits, unwanted apps, I don't need it. Use the right tools. Everyone has a role. Everybody needs to be safe. Any questions?
Can two-factor authentication be hacked?
Sorry?
Two-factor.
It becomes very difficult to hack with two-factor authentication.
It has been hacked.
It has been hacked.
So
yes.
the more secure one is if you use the app. If you lose SMS has been hacked. Right? It's not easy to hack. So it's still good. It's still use it before not using it. Of course, strong password SMS, most likely you're okay. If you want to take it a step further, then use the apps like Google and Microsoft. But be careful. Even the apps can be hacked if the site itself is untrustworthy. So if I sign a two-factor authentication with a fake banking site, they'll be able to generate the two-factor code, right? Because they need to have it to authenticate me with the second factor. So it means that I still am vulnerable. But if I use two-factor with an app with TD and say I trust TD, then most likely I'm okay.
Yeah.
So my question is to you. So for those people that do sell credit card to you, right? They won't tell you the whole story. Maybe you visit Canadian Tire, for instance, they are telling you they want to sell.
Yes.
Take the MasterCard, you get value and all of that. They will come at you. They will be putting pressure on you that do this, do that. Even Walmart and all of that, they do that. So how do we? Because what I do naturally is, anytime you are selling credit card to me, my answer is no. My default answer is no. I don't listen to you. So in such situation, can we categorize that as a fraud? Because on that short minute, you can know the details. You can know the pros and cons of the credit card that you're taking. So can we classify that as fraud as well?
So first of all, somebody standing in Canadian Tire trying to sell you a credit card, I would call the store manager and try to see why are they here? It's very odd to sell. If it's only the MasterCard, the options MasterCard, then I can understand, because that's a Canadian Tire business. They are invested into that bank. If somebody said
MasterCards, I mean, they associated with your company.
Yeah.
They're trying to sign you up for a new credit card. I wouldn't say it's a scam, but it's a pressure sale. Like they're trying to put you in pressure.
Yeah, don't
They
yield
say,
to
like,
pressure.
today only you get this benefit, and we'll give you this discount. My advice is that there's no deal that, like I tell my mom this, if someone tells you this deal only is today, walk away. Because there's no reason that you can't get the deal tomorrow, right? So the best thing is relax.
Sense of
Urgency, yeah.
It's why I get it open on my mailbox. Capital One card,
Yes,
credit card.
correct.
So they send it regularly. Despite the fact that I don't respond to it, I don't do it, they still continue to send it every time.
Yeah.
So you mentioned a website where you can verify your email has been
Yeah.
hacked or not. What is it?
Have
I been pawned?
Have I
Been
pawned?
pawned. The pawned word does not have an A. PWNED. Huh.
It's actually
One word?
it's short for owned. You can even Google "Have I been owned?" It'll come up to the same
Same
site.
thing. Have I been owned?
And it just checks the breach databases are public. So you put your credit card. Not credit card. You put your email. My email has been part of 17 different breaches.
Mine is nearly 4.
Before, so I'm doing much worse than him. But you have to be careful, because as soon as you're part of a breach, it means that you should go ahead and change that password that you used on that site. Never use that password again. Yeah, because they know that password. They know the email. They know your birth date. They know. Hopefully, they don't have your credit card info. But if you want to be safer, you could even go change your credit cards.
Content breaches.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. and stay safe. Inshallah.
The best thing to do is change the email, right? When you find that your email.
You don't have to change your email per se, but you need to change your password
Passwords.
and any other information you may have shared with that site. So if you